Okay, we're back with part 2 of my 2024 reflections, and I'm ready to get into it. I wanted to just kind of elaborate a little bit more about like advocating for yourself, speaking up for yourself, and the value in doing that, because like I said, nobody's gonna fight for you. You have to make sure that you are taking care of your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul by speaking up when someone disrespects you or dishonors you or makes you feel uncomfortable or doesn't make you feel safe. If these people are really for you, they will honor and respect it and move forward with your boundaries in the back of their head. But if they don't give a fuck, and that's your answer right there. That was a lesson I had to learn a lot in early 2024, maybe more so end of 2023, but definitely early 2024. And it's something I'm gonna always continue to harp on and speak on forever and ever and ever. Forever, ever, ever, ever. Okay. And then the next thing I was gonna speak on was people pleasing, and like how I said I was killing it. I was killing it. I was killing it. And I was killing it. And I want to make like my own like separate video about just people pleasing in general, especially from a clinical standpoint, a therapeutic standpoint, but from my world standpoint, CHIAMAKA standpoint, people pleasing is definitely rooted in insecurity. It's rooted in insecurity and shame. I feel like there is this level of not feeling good enough and getting that, I guess, boost or that feeling or identity in being able to make other people happy or please other people while you are dishonoring yourself or discrediting yourself or dismissing yourself, really. And baby, like I said, I'm gonna make a whole separate video on people pleasing, because that's a spirit that we have to kill and destroy and cast to the pits of hell in Jesus' name. Amen. People pleasing will definitely have you burnt out or have you bitter and have you feeling some kind of way, because you're giving so much of yourself and pouring so much of yourself to the point where you're on E, you're empty, you don't even have nothing else to give. But there's something that you gotta make other people happy when you're not even really getting nothing in return. And so when you're constantly giving and you're not getting that refilling, it's gonna make anybody go crazy, make anybody go psycho. So I think making sure that you are doing that work of being aware when you find yourself trying to people please and asking yourself, like, why am I going out of my way to do this, or why am I thinking this way or feeling like I have to do this, like, why do I feel like I need to say yes when I really want to say no? Really, like, start doing that work, whether you need to get a therapist or you can get even a journal and just kind of journal and process and get an understanding. I truly believe that that spirit of people pleasing is rampant in the souls of people, especially that have been abused, taken advantage of, been in some kind of narcissistic type of relationship, whether parental child relationship or romantic or even friendship. Heal that. You have to heal that, because when you walk around insecure, ashamed, and feeling like you're not good enough, you're bound to be taken advantage of, you're bound to be used, you're bound to be hurt, dismissed, all kinds of things that just adds more brokenness and trauma and pain onto your heart and soul. So we gotta let that shit go. Okay? I love y'all. Okay, so the next thing, baby, you gotta focus on you. Focus on you, baby girl. You gotta focus on you, because watching what everybody else is doing is just gonna have you stuck. Looking to the right, to the left, and not focusing on your own plot, gonna have you stuck. Gonna have your garden brown, bitter, and broken, dusty. Like, what? No growth. But when you focus on you, you're watering your own soil, your own garden. You start to see it's turning green. You start seeing some flowers and some fruit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you start to grow and blossom and just become this beautiful version of yourself. And your cup is full to the point where it's overflowing. To the point where naturally from your overflow, people are being able to be blessed and benefited off of you. Yeah, so that's why it's important to not in a selfish way focus on you, like fuck everybody, you know, it's only about me. Nah, I'm not speaking like that, but I'm speaking more so, especially when you're trying to build something, you can't be looking at everybody else and what they got going on, because that will influence your vision and have an impact in a way where it may not be exactly what God wants. It may not be bad, but it's not what God wants, right? You can fall into that comparison trap, and we ain't got time for that. When you are too worried about everybody else, you fall into so many traps. You fall into that comparison trap. You fall into, you know, trying to keep up with everybody, keeping up with the Joneses. You may end up overspending because you feel like you got to get the next thing. No, just focus on what God got you focused on. When you focus on X, Y, and Z and everybody else, you're going to be all over the place. And that's not healthy. That's not good for your spirit, mind, or soul. So you got to let it go. I know you feel like you might miss out, or you got to let all that shit go. We ain't got time for it. We ain't got time for it. Like that overconsumption, the fears, the depression from the constant scrolling and comparing. Like, we got to dead all of that. Dead all of that. And I had to learn that heavily in 2025 or 2024, and I'm making sure that I bring that into 2025 to just focus on myself, focus on my own plot, focus on my growth, focus in on what God wants me to build, because I'm the only one that can build what it is that God has called me to build. I can't look to somebody else. And yes, there's nothing wrong with inspiration or, you know, getting insight from what other people are doing, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure this is completely and fully you and God doing the thing, whatever it is that you guys are doing. So my next reflection is, right now is all you got. Right now is all you got. Like, you're not supposed to wait until next week or later on in life. Like, that procrastination spirit, you gotta dead it, because right now is all you have. The past is gone. We can never go back, and the future is not here yet. All we have is the present. All we have is right now. So whatever God is calling you to do, you gotta do it right now. And this is a universal message, right? This is whether he's calling you to start something, start it now, or if he's calling you to stop something, stop it now. Whatever that is that God is telling you to start or stop, you know it. And I know for some things it may be a process. I know for some things it may take you baby stepping your way through it. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you are starting the process, okay? Starting the process. If you have the intentions to start that process or stop that process, or whatever it is that he's calling you to start or stop, you got to be obedient to it, because right now is all you got. You don't know if you got tomorrow. You don't know if you got next week. And the things that God is calling us to bring and manifest onto this earth, you know, we need to have a sense of urgency. We shouldn't be just, I start doing that next week. What if the world ends next week? Then what you gonna do? I had to learn that too. Like, and I it's hard because I'm the type of person that has like a lot of ideas, a lot of visions, a lot of dreams, a lot of goals, a lot of all kinds of things. And I feel overwhelmed sometimes. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish all of them. And it's like, just do the last thing he asked you to do. Just do the last thing he asked you to do. You could write down the ideas that come up as you go, but just work on the last thing he asked you to do. And then you move on to the next task, and you move on to the next dream, and you move on to the next goal, and you move on to the next thing. Okay? So right now is all you got. You can't wait till tomorrow or next week or a later date, because you don't know if you had that. And you don't know if you bringing forth that vision now will save or inspire or do something dope in the world, then had you wait a week later, hell, a day later. You know what I'm saying? And as well as stopping the thing. You don't know what God could be trying to do inside of you or around you by you being obedient, whether it's to slow down, sit down, take a break, rest, stop doing this, stop that habit, whatever it is. Like, you know what God is calling you to start or stop. Right now is all you got. So this next reflection is kind of like a reiteration of one of my previous reflections that I did in my other video, but it's just to shine a light. So again, just a reiteration of being fully and authentically yourself. You got to shine your light. You know, you can't dim it for nobody. You can't, you know, just like in the Bible it says, like, what's the point? Like, you can't, okay, how do you say it? He said in the Bible it said something like, you don't put a light, or you don't put a, I don't know what, he said something about putting a lampshade. I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't say it verbatim the way I want to say it. But it's basically saying, like, you shouldn't cover your light. Like, you're supposed to, like, put your light out for everybody to see, you know? And, like, it's like sometimes we are scared to shine our lights because we're scared of what other people will say, what other people will think. And it's like, one, I feel like nobody really cares anyway. Like, everybody's too worried about themselves. So might as well just fully be yourself. And then two, there are people that actually do care. There are two kinds of people that care. The first group of people are the people that are outwardly showing their support and cheering you on with whatever it is that you are doing or with you shining your light. Two, the second group of people are those that are silently impressed, okay? Silently inspired by what it is that you do. They may not say nothing. They may not even like your shit. They may not even like comment, but they're impressed. They're like, okay, I see what you want, right? It doesn't matter whether you get that praise or that response from them or not, as long as you keep walking in your light, because what they can never say is that you didn't do it. What they can never say is that you are not it. Okay, what they can never say is that you are not that girl, that guy, whatever it is that you do, right? So you got to keep shining on them, okay? My next reflection is you got to forgive and let them go. Yeah, I think this kind of goes back to my other reflection, my other video, where, you know, not everybody is able to go with you to the next level, or you got to just learn to let people go. Forgiving people is also part of that process too, because I know that sometimes we get into relationships with people where they really just do us so dirty and so nasty, and it just doesn't even make sense why they will do you like that or move like that. Maybe there wasn't room to have a conversation about why what happened had happened, or they're just not the type of person where you can have that type of conversation with them, and it's still something that weighs on you, it still bothers you, it still, you know, triggers you to a point where it's like debilitating. You can't get up and do what you know you need to do. I think there's a level of having to forgive them and also forgiving yourself. Whatever choices that you might have made or decisions you might have made in order to either continue the relationship or that ended the relationship, you got to forgive them, yourself, and let it go and move forward. That's a process. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is like a one, two, and done type of thing. This is going to be some time, but you got to be intentional with it. You can't just be like, oh, I forgive him, and you're not doing no true actual forgiveness or work behind that statement. Like, this is a journey. You may not really fully feel it until sometime later on in life. That could be in a few weeks, a few months, a few years, who knows. But there'll be a day where you wake up and you're not thinking about it like that no more. You're not thinking about them, or the situation doesn't sting as bad as it used to. But that only happens when you actually start walking that process out. Along with forgiving and letting go, make sure people are also held accountable. You don't just be forgiving people just to be forgiving people. Like, I think there needs to also be a level of accountability on that person, a level of responsibility that person should be held to, okay? And again, some people are just not capable or in that position, or you may not even have the opportunity for that person to be held accountable. But making sure that you do everything in your power that you can to make sure if someone has harmed you or done you wrong, they're held accountable. So that goes back to the advocating and speaking up for yourself, or making sure, like, if someone has harmed you, like, in a way where it was a crime, like, you know, I know taking it to the police, to the laws, that's a whole different level, but making sure that you take care of your heart and soul in regards to that type of wound. But ultimately getting to a place where you forgive people even after them being held accountable and responsible for whatever it is, and holding yourself accountable and responsible for whatever things and choices that you made, but being able to do that and move forward and let go and move on. All right, next. How you move exposes your character. Like, how you move exposes your character. You don't want to be out here moving foul. How you move will determine the type of woman, man that you are, will determine the type of character that you carry, will determine the type of relationships you're able to hold on to, keep, the type of jobs you're able to obtain, hold on to, and keep. Like, you have to move right. You can't be out here moving shiesty and think that shit gonna go right for you. Like, and I had to learn it the hard way. I'm still learning that lesson in different ways. And so making sure that you move right, move intentionally, and you move with an awareness and a knowing that even if nobody's watching, God is watching, and that's all that matters, is that God is watching. That should be enough to have you move right, because moving in integrity, moving right, moving righteously, it just opens the door for favor and blessings and peace. Okay, because when you know you've done something right, you have peace. But when you know you're not moving right, you always looking over your shoulder. And don't nobody want to live like that. Don't nobody want to be living constantly in fear, or afraid or anxiously because they didn't move right. And I don't think God blesses foul behavior, foul moves. Nah, he don't bless that. So you asking for God to grow your business or grow your finances, but you cheating your partner, you cheating this person, or you moving foul in this area. Like, no. No. Get that area in order, and then maybe we could talk about whatever it is that you're praying to me about. Simple. When you move right in the dark, you get blessed in the light. So just let that be a reminder for you. Another reflection is there's so much more to your life than your vices and your distractions. I'm telling you, there's so much more to life than these damn fucking distractions and your vices. These things that's holding you back, keeping you stuck. You gotta cut it. You gotta find a way to cut that. Especially if you want greater and more in your life. Them vices and the distractions will hold you back. 100%. Yeah. Fully. So go ahead and start like touching grass or something, and like start seeing the world, or start doing something that's gonna get you out of your little bubble and off the little distractions and devices that keeping you stuck and keeping you in the same place. I said what I said. Please go after your dreams. Your spirit and your soul will thank you for it. Self-explanatory. Get your priorities together. Get your priorities together. Get your priorities right. First things first. Like, handle your business. You're a grown adult woman, grown adult man. You got priorities. You got business you gotta handle. Stop you saying yes to every single damn thing. Then you wonder why you all out of sorts, all out of whack, all confused. Cause you discombobulate. You're not even organized as a person. You don't even know what's right or what's first or what's important. You just casual. You just too open with everyone in your time. Like, nah, get strict and get your priorities in order. I'm gonna elaborate on this in another video because I feel like this is important to talk about. In a more expansive way. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, get your priorities together because we ain't got the time. Last but not least, honey, I'm gonna need you to stay close to the Lord. Yeah, stay close to God, because he's the one that's going to lead you, guide you, protect you, give you wisdom, give you game, give you insight, all the things, give you peace, give you clarity, give you rest, all of that. Those are some of the things that I feel like God has been able to give me when I immediately go after him about whatever it is that I'm worried about, stressed about, or needing, versus my vices or people or whatever distraction that may numb me out for a little bit, but it doesn't give me that everlasting peace. It doesn't give me that everlasting wisdom. It doesn't give me that true resolution that I'm seeking for. So staying close to God will keep you safe, protected. It'll just, I don't know, something about just being in a relationship with God just feels safe to me. You have a different level of discernment and wisdom on you, a different level of intentionality in the way that you move, a different level of, like, you have a moral compass whenever you are in a relationship with the Lord. Like, you don't just be moving any kind of way. Like, he gonna lead you and direct you and move you in a way that he needs you to move and walk. So yeah, those are my reflections. Those are the things that I've learned in the last year. And I'm sure there's so many more things that I've learned. Those are just some of the ones that I wrote. And I truly believe that as I continue to walk this life out, there's going to be many more lessons for me to learn. and I can't wait to share them with you guys and journey this life out with the Lord and with you guys, because we're all here to just learn and grow. We're all here to just heal, learn, and grow in love at the end of the day. So I hope my reflections again were insightful, they were helpful, they were maybe in line with what it is that you've been learning or that you want to learn. I'm gonna make sure to be a little bit more, I guess, like intentional with what I share, because I had a lot and I feel like I could have really went in on a lot of them, and that would have been like a 4-part video series. And you know, maybe some people are open to that, so I may consider doing that maybe in my next reflections video, or just any kind of other video that requires more of my time. I did feel like I was kind of rushing through it, but as long as you guys got the content, the tea, and the truth, that's all that matters to me. So I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.